What's up? Welcome back to another Wisco Fanatics Wednesday. We have a whole bunch of Brewer games to talk about today. We have 8 Milwaukee Brewers games to discuss. Then we're also going to throw out some more information and some thoughts and questions as we head into the NBA draft, which starts tonight. So we're going to talk Brewers, and then we're going to have some draft questions as we head into the NBA draft tonight. And let's get it going.
Welcome to another live episode of the Wisco Fanatics Show, where we discuss the Packers, Bucks, Brewers, Badgers football, and basketball from an optimistic perspective. Wisco Fanatics is brought to you by Cardboard Legacy, Wisconsin's most complete sports card shop. Buy, sell, grade, and consign all at their location in Oshkosh.
All right, so we are about 5 minutes fresh off of Andrew Monasterio hitting a walk-off single that probably would have been a double on a normal day, but here we are. Andrew Monasterio hit the walk-off for the Brewers to beat and sweep the Texas Rangers the second straight year. I'm pretty sure they swept them last year right after the All-Star break, right after the Brewers were on kind of a tough stretch, and then they swept the Rangers, and then they went on a big run. So I would love for this to kick off in a similar way, although last year was in Texas. So there's that. So today we have 8 Milwaukee Brewers games, starting with the finale from the Brewers and Angels series from last Wednesday. Then we have the entire 4-game Padres series, and then we have the entire Brewers and Rangers series. Brett, welcome back. Now, Reggie, if you are watching or when you get in here, let me know when you get in here, because we are going to answer the question that you came with during the week. So Reggie, when I see you, I will answer your question. So before we get into the games individually, let's start with our power pair and underrated performer. Jake, who is your power pair and underrated performer?
All right, so let's get into this. First of all, this is for Brett. Stick with us, dude. We have some Buck stuff at the end of the episode before the draft, so you'll probably want to hear that. My first, I had to get him once because he's been on fire. And I wanted to get Jackson Churio as my power pair. I have his stats before the game. We didn't really have enough time to update them. Obviously, the game just got over. But he was 6 for 20, 3 runs, a double, an RBI, and 3. He only had 3 strikeouts. So I thought that was something that was really important. It's only the 3 strikeouts. He's been striking out a lot less. He's been making a lot of hard contact. And you could tell that he is feeling himself at the plate right now. He is up there with high confidence. That is a 300 batting average, 300 on base, a 350 slug, and a 650 OPS. And that's not too shabby for a 20-year-old kid, if I do say so myself. You can just tell the speed, the defense, everything is starting to come together like we've been saying, like we've heard from Javik Blake, where he struggles at first and then he figures it out, and all of a sudden the superstar potential just shows. And if you can't see the superstar potential, then you're clearly just blind.
Hey, you gotta watch more games.
Yeah, I would just suggest you to go to the eye doctor, or watch more baseball.
Watch more games. Yeah.
Yeah. So my next one is Trevor McGill. That's my power pair pitcher. He's just been just another guy on this team, and we say it all the time about a bunch of dudes on this team. A lot of dudes in the bullpen, but just really underappreciated. 3 innings pitched this week, now 4 innings after today. 0 hits, 0 walks, 4 Ks. He had 2 saves. He's 16 out of 17 in the saves department this year, so very good. 7 of his saves are at home. He is allowing a 202 opponent batting average, a 265 on base percentage, a 247 slug, and a 512 OPS. I mean, that's almost as good as it gets, honestly. And he's just going to be another weapon when we become fully healthy and we get our all-star closer back. So for my underrated performer is a guy that should never be underrated, in my opinion, and his name is Yelich. And he still demands the respect of everybody around the league. He is the most consistent player on the Brewers. He may not be the best. He may not be the highest potential anymore. Contreras, I would still say, probably nudges him as the best. But there is no question in my mind who's the most consistent player on this team. Every single day, Yelich, 7 of 26. He had 6 runs scored. That was really what was the tipping point for me. He was getting on base and scoring runs. He had a double, 2 RBIs, 5 walks, and a stolen base. It's a 269 average. Nice. A 387 on base percentage, a 308 slug, and a 695 OPS. The guy just comes to work and does his job, and he clocks out, man. He's old school.
So I want to respond to a few comments. Brett said that inside the park home run was beautiful. He's rebounding now. He's on fire. Let's not forget his age. That contract's starting to look like a steal. He's only going to get better. And that's absolutely true.
Yes.
Sub Azimuth Dash said 4 in a row. We are rolling. Yes, we are. That's one of those things where we'll get into game 4 of that Padres series. It's one of those things where you can't underestimate the momentum of just being able to pull up the finale of a 4-game series, even though you lost the first 3.
Yeah.
That's momentum. James, what's up? Welcome back. James, I'm going to give you a little bit of love right now, but it's for your baseball team. Jaron Duran, he's a stud. I really like him. He's an absolute stud. Big fan. And Brett, yes, Jared Koenig has absolutely been on fire. We're definitely going to have some thoughts on him during the show. My power pair consists of Bryce Hudson, and my underrated performer of South Creek. So Bryce Durang, 10 for 35 in the last week, 400 batting average, 4 runs, 7 runs batted in. He had the grand slam in San Diego. Also drew 3 walks and playing great defense as always. James said the Red Sox are playing like an MLB team. Highly recommended.
Yeah, they are in the MLB, so
that's true. And then Brian Hudson, my stats, my underrated performers and power pair does include today's stats. So Brian Hudson, 5 innings pitched in 3 appearances, only 2 hits, no walks, no runs, and 4 Ks. Brian Hudson really should be an all-star. He's just in a non-glamorous relief pitcher position, so it might not happen, but he is absolutely deserving.
Yeah, you're not going to name too many players, especially relief pitchers, that are better than Brian Hudson, in my opinion.
And if you are, they're going to be closers.
Yep.
And then underrated performer, Sal Frelick. I'm going to talk about this during some of the individual games as well, but I can tell, and I think you could tell too, that Sal Frelick is seeing the ball better lately. And it shows his batting average has gone up by 12 points in the last 7 games. In the last 3 games, he has 7 hits and only 3 strikeouts in the last week. And absolutely air Sal. Some fantastic defense as well. So let's get to that finale from last Wednesday, the Brewers and Angels game 3. What stood out to you from that?
Yeah, pretty wild. We're about to talk about 3 different baseball teams facing the Brewers this week, but that's what happened.
One of them includes a 4-game series.
Yeah, right. That makes it even more crazy. But in this one, the Brewers ended up winning 2-0. Peralta was on the bump for this one. He gave us 6 innings, 3 hits. All the hits that he gave up were singles, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, and 8 Ks. So I just wanted to pat both of us on the back. I can't reach you, so I'll just pat myself. You could pat yourself on the back. We were talking about it. Cy Young worthy, Freddie Peralta was going to show up at some point. He wasn't going to be bad for the entire season. That just wasn't going to happen. He's too good. He's got too many good pitches at his disposal. And this Brewers pitching staff, coaching, players, Contreras gets some credit for that. It's just too good. So he comes out and he absolutely dominates. The mentioned before, Brian Hudson just comes in 2 innings and gives up 1 hit. That is like his average stat line now. That's what I expect out of him, and that's not fair. It's starting to get to that point where he's starting to be so good where, like, if he gives up 2 hits and he gives up a run, people are going to be like, oh, what the heck's wrong with Brian Hudson?
He's not an ace.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how good he is. Trevor McGill comes in, shuts it down. But Brewers allowed 0 runs in this one, ended up being their 4th shutout of the year. And I wanted to give you credit, man. So you brought up Tyler Anderson a few weeks ago when we were doing trade targets. And I was doing a little bit more research, looking deeper at him. His record is 6-7. So you're going to look at that, and as a casual, you're going to be like, the heck do they want this guy for, right? 2.48 ERA, 63 Ks, and a 1.18 whip. Now, whip is walks and hits innings pitched. He's tremendous in that area, playing on a terrible team. And the Angels, I don't know why they're always bad. It makes no sense. They should be able to get free agents out in LA. That's all I'm saying. But he's held his opponents to 1 run in 6 of his last 7 outings, including the game versus the Brewers. He lost 3 of those games. Imagine what he could do on this Brewers team that can just pop off for 8 runs at any moment. They can pop off for 8 runs in an inning. This offense is just so good. The speed is so dynamic. He would be an amazing pickup, in my opinion.
I mean, I would love for that to happen. Like last year, you got Carlos Santana, right, to your credit. And
Mhm.
right now, my two top guys for the Brewers to go after are Tyler Anderson and Eric Fetty. If we could get one or even somehow manage to get both of them, I'd be ecstatic. I'd be like, dude, call that like in late May. That'd be awesome. James was yesterday days old when he learned that MLB no longer uses Game 163 to break ties.
Yep.
Yeah, that's been gone since COVID.
Yeah, it's been
Year
gone
after.
from like 3 or 4 years now. I'll never forget. I'll never forget when the Brewers beat the Cubs on Game 163.
Yep, good
Though,
times.
what a time to be alive.
So, as Jake said, the Brewers were facing Tyler Anderson. Got a
Yep.
run off of him in the first inning, and he locked in for 7 innings.
Yeah.
He's legit, and he's under contract for next year. He's under a $13 million contract. So I would expect the Brewers to ask the Angels to kick in some cash to go
Yep.
with that. But with his delivery, he varies his delivery, which is really tough to read for batters. It's really hard to match the timing when sometimes he's got a big leg kick, sometimes there's no leg kick, sometimes it's just from the stretch. So that's tough to read. And to that point, Tyler Anderson delivered 13 swing and misses against the Brewers. He's a really good pitcher.
Yes, he is.
Freddie Peralta, also a really good pitcher. His locating breaking balls for strikes, if he's doing that, he's going to be close to untouchable.
Oh yeah.
And in this game, his high fastball, low changeup combo in this game is just showing the growth that he's had on the changeup. Over the last 2 years, we've been talking about Freddie Peralta using a changeup more, not really a pitch he used to use a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be Freddie fastball, then he was Freddie curveball. We know he's got a slider, and now he's working in a changeup. He's really becoming like true ace of a pitcher.
I agree.
Maybe just a year too early, but if Brandon Woodruff was healthy, he'd be our number 2.
And that's a disgusting one too. Still.
And it absolutely is. And then there's plenty of guys behind him that you can use. So keep that in mind while Freddie Peralta is our ace this year. He's not going to be our ace next year. He's going to be our number 2.
Yep.
Anyways, this game, Freddie Peralta pitched those 6 shutout innings, only 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, gave up 3 hits, 18 swing and misses. That's nasty. That's 3 swing and misses per inning.
Wow.
On average.
Wow.
I will say on the subject of the balk that he had called against him, it was a balk. That was a fair call. His normal leg kick is much higher. The leg kick that he had on the balk was like a medium kick, and he kind of kicked it different, not his regular motion. So I understand where that balk was called. Ended up not really mattering, but I understand the call. What I love about this game is the Brewers outfield with Christian Yelich, Sal Frelick, and Jackson Chourio is that there is so much range in that outfield. It's insane.
Yeah, Frelick might be our best center fielder, to be honest with you. And that's tough to say because Perkins has been very good. And not that Chourio's been bad either. Chourio's starting to come into his own as well. But Frelick he feels natural out there, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yep. Bryce Durang, he had some good wood on the ball. It just hit up too close to the center fielder. That happens. But what I wanted to point out was in this game, last Wednesday, we talked about Luis Garcia on Monday using his splitter versus the sweeper. Mm-hmm. On Monday, he was using his splitter a lot when his sweeper is normally his higher usage put-away pitch. This game, with the splitter, Christian Yelich drew a 2-0 walk. Willy Adames hit a broken bat single. Both of them laid off of the breaking stuff and were able to take advantage of the sweeper or the splitter. I just wanted to point that out, that's an adjustment that they made from Monday to Wednesday facing the same pitcher.
That's good stuff.
And then I almost said Bryce Hudson. Brian Hudson is an all-star. His sweeper on the outside edge of the strike zone is nasty. It only took him 25 pitches to throw 2 innings. So very, very interested to see what happens with Brian Hudson as far as the All-Star game is concerned. Michael said, I saw last night there are 3 players, Frelick, then Lara, Brown, a few other minor league players. I know we need to give up talent to acquire, but not Frelick. No, Frelick's not going anywhere.
Wow, especially with the news that happened today where Mitchell was grabbing his hamstring. Yeah, so I mean, if he's going down again, and that'd be terrible. Honestly, I'm starting to feel like bad for him, not because I want to watch him play, but like him as the human being having to go through that's mentally tough. So that would be.
Frelick is not anything that's going to be traded. They're not going to trade anybody from the major league roster. Cody said, "How about the Cubs paying the most for a general manager ever and being in last?"
I mean, that makes me happy every single day. I get to hear about it for the next 3 days after tomorrow. So all weekend I'll get to hear about that, and I'm just going to be happy all weekend. All weekend I'm just going to be smiling. Like, yeah.
And Sunday we will have a Patreon watch party, so you can join us for that, and we'll have a pregame show that day as well. Okay, so this was I calculated this last Wednesday. I should have updated it as far as today goes. Christian Yelich is getting much, much closer to qualifying for being the major league leader in batting average. Brandon said Mitchell's turning into a Watson of the Packers. Breaks my heart. I can't go that far yet. I keep saying this to people who are calling Garrett Mitchell injury prone. The first 2 injuries that he had were from playing the game. They weren't like soft tissue injuries. This hamstring injury is like the first one. The other 2 happened while playing baseball.
Well, on top of that, Watson was out a couple of games in his rookie season because of a concussion. I understand the hamstring thing, but like some things you can't really control.
Right. Okay.
Oh.
So James said, do teams practice at non-MLB facilities? I was at Rose Park in Nashville, and I saw the White Sox and Braves running some kind of scrimmage. Maybe I'm crazy. Was people wearing MLB jerseys with numbers? To be fair, I didn't quite recognize them. I think it's possible. I think it's very possible, especially if they're there like the day before they start a series and they're having an off day and having a practice. I think it's certainly possible.
Yeah, I don't have a confirmation on that at all, but yeah, I think it's highly likely.
Okay.
Let's pull the Band-Aid off.
Okay. Wait, I have one more thing.
Oh, yep.
This game put the Brewers at 14 games over 500. You want to take a stab at what day of the year it took them to get that number last year?
August 18th.
You were very close.
What is it?
It's actually a week after that.
Son of a bitch.
It took the Brewers until August 25th to get 14 games over 500 last year.
I felt good about August. I really did, but damn, so close.
So, now that the Brewers won that series, we go to a series that they lost. It happens. It is what it is. They didn't get swept, but let's talk about the Brewers and the Padres. Let's go to game 1.
Okay, so Bryce Wilson's on the mound in this one, and he got roughed up a little bit when you just look at the box score. But if you take a deeper look at it, and this is why you see these pitchers locked in. It doesn't matter what the count is. They're locked in every single pitch because a home run can happen at any single pitch. And Wilson was a bit unlucky in this one. Gave up a homer to Machado that came in the first. That one came with 0-2 count and 2 outs. So he was literally a pitch away from getting out of the inning. Next batter, Jackson Merrill, same thing, 0-2, 2 outs. It's another home run. So he was 1 pitch away from not giving up either run. Then with Tatis, was also an 0-2 count when he gave up his homer to Tatis. And that one was only with 1 out, but again, a pitch away. So you take some of these homers, and he makes a few more pitches that were better. Yeah, and the fumble double play on that. I mean, he could have had a much better line, and the Brewers maybe win this baseball game, right? But it is what it is. There's no crying in baseball. That's what they tell me. Jared Koenig was very good in this one. Hobie Miller in his inning gave up 2 hits, a run, had a K and a walk. And Blaylock, an inning pitch, no hits, no earned runs, and no Ks, and 1 walk. Piamps, obviously we know what happens. Gives up pitches 2/3 of a 9th inning and gives up a walk-off. But I just want to give credit to the Brewers. Brewers could have gave up in this one. They could have gave up. They were down big early, and they fought back. And that's the reason that I think more and more people need to start paying attention to this team this year, is because no matter the score, they're always in it. You know, a pass ball could score a run. I mean, look at a pass ball today, got Terang to third base. And that's what was the difference in the ball game. And the speed of this team, overall, we have to be one of the fastest teams in majors. Maybe number 1. Probably.
I'd put like 75% certainty that the Brewers are the fastest team in baseball.
I mean, you're thinking Terang, Frelick, Churio.
Yelich. I mean, Willie Adames isn't a slouch. Joey Ortiz isn't slow. Like,
yeah, I mean, we've got a fast-ass team. So just give credit to them for fighting back. Adames hit a homer in this one. Terang had an RBI in this one. Terang and Adames had 2-out RBIs. Yelly Hoskins also had an RBI. Adames' home run came with 2 outs as well. So just wanted to give credit to the Brewers offense for fighting back, and Wilson was actually close to pitching a very good game, just a pitch away. But the Padres have a good offense, so let's give credit to them as well for hitting those pitches.
That's fair. James said that's what's fun about baseball. The game isn't over until the last out of the last inning, and we saw that today for the Brewers. So Brandon mentioned Terang fumbled the double play. We expect Bryce Terang to be as near perfect as possible, as much as anybody else in Major League Baseball. He is nearly perfect, but everybody messes up sometimes. You just hope that when those mess ups happen, that they're in games where you have the opportunity to pick them up and still win baseball games. That's really what it comes down to. I'm going to have this same sentiment when we get to today's game when we talk about Dallas Keuchel, but this case being Bryce Wilson, who unfortunately wasn't able to pick up Bryce Terang on fumbling that double play. It's just, we say it often, it happens. And in the game of baseball, where there are so many games played, anything that can happen will happen.
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes a could have been double play is going to turn into a 4-run inning.
What happens?
That's, I mean, a snowball effect. Just it happens. There's really no other way around it.
That's with all sports, though. If I could do just a dialogue for a sec. I mean, think about basketball. You could be on a big run, right? You're down big. Say your team's down big. You go on a 10-2 run, and you tie the game, and you go for a rebound. You tip it. The team that you're facing ends up getting it. The Bucks, whoever the hell they're facing, and they hit a 3, and all of a sudden they run away with the game. That's the kind of snowball effect stuff that can happen. These 50-50 kind of balls, the double play ball with Terang. In football, you could be marching down the field, you fumble the ball, the team picks it up, they run it back for a touchdown. Then all of a sudden after that, it sucks all the air, all the momentum out of the stadium. And, then it's a snowball effect, for the Packers. Hopefully not. But those kind of things happen in sports all the time. You take the good with the bad, right?
As far as the 2 home runs that were given up by Bryce Wilson, the one to Machado was not an awful pitch. It was kind of right on the edge of the strike zone. That one, you tip your cap to Machado, who is a douche. But that's good hitting. That's that. The one to Jackson Merrill, however, I cannot believe he hit a home run on that pitch.
Yeah.
That pitch, like, a damn near could have hit him in the top of the foot. The fact that he hit that pitch for a home run, like that one, you just be like, all right, dude, I mean, I guess that's what we're doing. We're just hitting dingers on, balls that are right above our shoelaces. Yeah, Brandon, that's one of those things. And even, like I said, even the 2 home runs that he gave up, not terrible pitches.
Yeah. That's what my point was, Brandon, was that he really was a couple pitches away from having another good outing.
It's really unfortunate, I guess is what I'll say.
Yeah.
I just want to pull it up now because I just want to show, like, where the 2 pitches that he gave up home runs on were. The other thing that I want to say with this game is, we aren't, as Wisco fanatics, we're not going to be like, oh, the umpires blew this game or the Brewers lost this game because of the umps, because we don't do that. But the umpires definitely did not do the Brewers any favors in this game. No. 21 missed calls by the home plate umpire, and 14 of them went against the Brewers. That's tough. However, even still, they had a chance to win this game. So this is the Manny Machado at bat. This pitch number 3, like that's not a bad pitch. That's a 4-seamer on the outer edge of the plate. That's Manny Machado. That's a good ball to hit out. That's a good piece of hitting.
Yeah.
This, however, is some bullshit. How the hell did he hit that pitch out?
Hey, man, my man had tic-tac-toe right there.
Brandon, that's totally fair. 2 inches higher and it's a pop-up. 2 inches lower and he swings over the top of it or beats it into the ground. This one, however, by Jackson Merrill, like I said, that's some bullshit that he hit that ball out. That's insane. That's a curveball, like I said, almost closer to his foot than it is to the strike zone.
Yeah.
So that you just throw your hands up in the air and be like, all right, baseball gods, thanks for the kick in the nuts. Let's not do this again.
Right.
It's insane that he hit that pitch out.
Yeah,
But to that point, talked about the umpiring. Even with that, the Brewers did not go away. Top of the fifth, Christian Yelich and Willie Adames created 2 runs with 2 outs. The top of the eighth, they drew 2 walks and a single, all with 2 outs to draw another run. 3 of their 6 runs came with 2 outs.
Merrill's the baller.
Merrill's the baller. Him and Churio are the Jackson 2 that are in the National League that are.
Dude, the Padres have a disgusting roster, even after losing some talent this year.
Yeah, after losing Juan Soto.
And Hader.
Okay.
Oh,
Padres team 2.
And Snell. Sorry, didn't want to disrespect
Well,
Snell.
I mean, they got Dylan Cease. I call that a wash.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Let's go to game 2. Again, I didn't think Colin Ray was that bad in this game. Might just be me. I didn't think he was that bad. I never really think Colin Ray okay, this is what I think about Colin Ray. I'm going to be like full disclosure. I don't think Colin Ray is ever going to look like a Cy Young Award winner.
Mm.
But I also don't think that he's as trash as some people say he is. I think he fits right in there.
How I'm going to say the same thing I say every single time we talk about Colin Ray. And you can see in the finals or what the score is when he leaves the game, the Brewers still had a chance. That's all I'm asking for is just keep us in the game, give us a chance to win. That's all you can ask for from a guy like Colin Ray.
And people putting higher expectations on him because of who we lost from last year is a little bit unfair in my opinion.
That's not Colin Ray's problem.
It's not. That's a you problem that you have to deal with, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm going to say about that. But again, I don't think Colin Ray was that bad. I think he just ran into a buzzsaw. That is the Padres. They were playing really well. The game prior, we didn't mention this. That was the Padres' 3rd straight walk-off win. They were feeling good about themselves.
Yeah.
So when they're all going up there and they're all confident and they're all feeling good, the baseball looks a little bit bigger and you start hitting it. And when you start doing that kind of stuff, you start to get hits that shouldn't be hits, right?
Well, not to
like
mention
Jackson Merrill home run.
They have the big baseball player for Major League Baseball and Luis Ariz.
Yeah, that's true.
That dude, the baseball has got to just look like a beach ball to that guy.
I don't understand how he's so good, but anyways. Koenig was good in this one. Milner got roughed up again, and this is where people started being like, what the heck is wrong with Hobie Milner? Because it was going on, a week and a half that he was really not himself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to let you cover that. Peguero was good in this one, and Anoli Canoli pitched in this game as well. And then he pitched 3 hits and an earned run. Now, the Brewers, the main positive I'm going to take away from this game for the Brewers, 5 of 15 were runners in scoring position. That's 1 out of 3. I'll take 1 out of 3 all day, especially with that many attempts. 15 attempts means you're getting people on base and you're bringing them in. So if I had to take something away from this game that was a building block, for a team that was struggling with runners in scoring position to go 5 of 15, get that many people on base and start churning out some runs, that's something to build on.
That's a really good point to bring up. The bottom of the 7th inning is really when this game kind of snowballed and the Brewers just weren't able to recover.
Yeah.
It's another one of those things that happens. It sucks that some of these things happen twice in the same week, but it is what it is. That's how it's going to go sometimes. There's also going to be games where the Brewers will just slap the team they're playing against 7 times in a row, and they'll hit 3 grand slams in 5 days.
They will. They will do that.
So there's that. Some more questionable umpiring calls in the top of the 2nd and top of the 3rd, as well as the Brewers being 3 for 3 on challenges on 3 plays that should not have needed to be challenged.
I concur.
That annoyed the hell out of me with this game. And then I wanted to say this because I saw somebody on Twitter say something really out of pocket about William Contreras. I think we're finding out that he's human, and kind of as he goes, so go the Brewers a little bit. Not entirely, but a little bit. He's one of our best players, so I don't think that's a hot take.
No.
If in the month of July we can get Contreras going the way he was going in April and May, the Brewers will continue winning series. Obviously, helping after this series, the Brewers get a sweep going. But if he rebounds to the April and May William Contreras, and the Brewers continue to play the way that they're currently playing and still finding ways to win games as they're starting to get a little bit healthier slowly and surely, William Contreras is going to be an MVP candidate. If you see that the Brewers are hot while William Contreras is hot, then they struggle a little bit when he struggles, and then they start to get hot and Contreras gets hot at the same time. I think MVP voters will see that correlation, and I think that'll help him gain some steam.
That is a good point, especially if we win the division, which we're currently on top of pretty comfortably right now.
So that said, just because William Contreras is not having a good month of June, I can't even believe this needs to be said. William Contreras is not getting benched.
Jesus Christ.
I am shocked that I need to actually say that sentence out loud. That somebody actually suggested on Twitter that William Contreras be benched.
I agree,
Brandon is absolutely on the right track.
I agree.
He's already seeing the ball better. I think it started last night a little bit even. So seeing the ball better, hitting the ball harder, I think he is on the right track to get back to where he was. So Padres game 3.
I don't have much from this one. Rodriguez started this one, gave us 4 innings, gave up 6 hits and 4 earned runs. And
Michael said keyboard warriors suck, and Todd said twidiots.
That's a good one, Todd. I might start using that, dude. Never heard that one before. That's pretty good. Rodriguez also 2 Ks. Jacob Junis, 3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, and 2 Ks. Noli Cannoli, nothing in his inning pitched. The Brewers got on the board in the 9th inning from a Bryce Terang grand slam. Hoskins, Ortiz, and Bowers all scored to cut the lead to 4-6 and gave the Brewers a chance in this one. And that's the thing about the Brewers this year that is a theme for me. They always have a chance to win. They don't really get killed. I mean, there's been very few and far between games, as we just hit the halfway point today. You can name on one hand the amount of games that the Brewers have been murdered in this game. But I bet you it'd take 2 hands to tell you how many games the Brewers murdered somebody else. So that's just my point.
I mean, you can look. Like, the Brewers really don't get blown out. Today was their 45th? 48th? Okay. I was in somewhere. And they have outscored their opponents by 69 runs.
Oh, nice, dude. Nice.
No, they don't get blown out. Obviously, they win games by more than 1 run because their run differential is much higher than their win total. Okay. So just want to throw this out there. We just got a Luke Fickell bat signal, so we'll see what happens with that.
Ooh.
But as far as Brewers Padres game 3, Bryce Terang made 2 outs on the bases. I will say this 1,000 more times this season. I will say it again. I've said it before. We have to live with some outs on the bases. We just have to. That's just a fact of if we are living with the Brewers being aggressive and loving the Brewers being aggressive, which is something I've seen a lot of people saying that they're enjoying this team. This team is fun. They love what Pat Murphy's doing. Christopher, welcome in. I hope you got a good suggestion to come and tune in. We have to live with some of these things happening. Obviously, in the top of the 9th, his grand slam forced the Padres to bring their closer into the game. So that is something that does still benefit the Brewers. As far as Carlos Rodriguez is concerned, he was sent back to AAA. This outing was pretty similar to his last start. His sinker and cutter were a little erratic, but he did still lead the game in swing and misses. That's 2 straight games that both of those things are true.
True.
Jacob Junis, as you mentioned, back in the majors. I am a believer in Jacob Junis. Despite the fact that he gave up 2 earned runs and 3 innings pitched, including a home run, I think his command was pretty good. Could have easily been an underrated performer for me this week.
Yeah.
This time last season, through 75 games, the Brewers were 39-36. I made this post on our Facebook page if you follow us there. They were 39-36 in second place, a game and a half behind the Reds. This year, through 77 games on June 23rd, they were at 44 wins and had a 5-game lead in the NL Central.
And the Cardinals are playing a doubleheader versus the Braves, which I believe they were losing 6-2 last time I checked in game 1. So could be up to whatever. And the Cubs are probably going to lose today too, unless they already lost.
And they're, 10 games
They're 10 games back already. At the start of today, they were 10 games back, which is hilarious.
That is hilarious. The Brewers broke the Cubs with that 4-game series.
They did something, man.
All right, let's talk about the W from that series, thanks to our Lord and Savior, Tobias Myers.
Lord and Savior, Tobias Myers. So just one little update. The Braves did win game 1 6-2. So that's great for us. So 6-2 is also the score of the Brewers Padres final.
Nice.
Funny how that works. Okay. Tobias Myers, dude. This kid is turning into a baller, man, honestly. Mm-hmm. Myers, 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, and 3 Ks. And he just looks like, honestly, he looks like a different person. He's wearing the same name and same number, but he looks like a completely different person up on the mound. He looks like he's under control. He doesn't look like a guy that's just like, am I supposed to be here? You want me to pitch right now? Like, it's completely 180 in my opinion. So Hudson, again, shocker, stud, 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 2 Ks. Piamps gives up an earned run in his 1 inning and 2 hits. And Trevor McGill doing Trevor McGill things, locking people down. So 2 out RBIs in this one. You ready for this? Bowers, 2 out RBI. Perkins, 2 out RBI. Turang, 2 out RBI. Tyler Black, your boy, 2 out RBI. I mean, my goodness. And all of those except Bowers came in the top of the 2nd inning, where Frelick hit a single and scored Adames. Perkins hit a single to left and scored Ortiz and Frelick. Turang hit a triple to right. Perkins ends up scoring on that. And Tyler Black hits a single to center to get his first RBI in his MLB career. So congratulations to him. He's going to be a stud as well. The Brewers have so many studs at so many positions. It's going to be unreal. And they're all fast, and they're all just like really good people and nice guys. And I couldn't be happier to be a Brewers fan right now, honestly.
Yeah. Let's not go ahead and nuke that culture, by the way.
Yeah, we're not having that discussion again. If you don't understand, then you can fuck off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's
honestly.
Stop saying the guy's name. It's not happening. Not happening. Not happening. It's not happening.
I was okay having the discussion once, twice, okay. If just like my children, if I have to tell you more than 2 times, I've reached my goddamn limit. You're gonna get the real Jake Net now.
I'm really, really getting to a point where I'm gonna make a 4-minute video and be like, here's why it's never happening. You did this to yourselves that I'm doing this. I'm going to be snarky the whole time. And then every time somebody talks about it, I'm just going to post a link to the video so I don't have to keep saying the same things over.
Yeah, we should start doing that shit. And you know what? Let's just make a video. I'll be the face. I don't care. Say, fuck off. Okay? Just make that a video. And then if somebody says some dumb shit, I'm just going to post that. I'm just going to say, fuck off. And that's it.
I understand the sentiment behind saying that because it's a tired argument that people keep bringing up. Oh, he's just sitting there. He's just sitting there.
It's done for. And okay, now I'm just going to say one thing, and then I'm going to move on.
Okay.
Brewers fans acting like the Brewers are the only team not signing him is ridiculous. All 30 teams are just like in agreement. Like, you know, even the ones with like lots of fucking money. They're not doing it. He's done.
Happening.
He's done. Get over it. Okay? Thank you. Anyways, Tobias Myers, consecutive wins, up to 4 now. He is the first Brewers rookie pitcher to do that since Manny Parra in 2008, who won 6 straight in his rookie season. Shout out to Kurt Hogg. That guy has amazing tweets and amazing stats. Love watching that guy's Twitter. Todd Rakowski. I think I'm saying that name wrong. Am I saying that name wrong?
You're talking about Todd Rosiak?
Rosiak, sorry.
Jim Ozarski is a Bucks guy.
Yep.
He works for the Journal Sentinel, but
definitely put the names together. It is what it is. But those 2 are amazing if you're trying to get some more Brewers content, like quick, that day, that second. But Absolutely amazing stat. Also, Murphy had a quote about Bryce Terang. This is my last point of this game, and he talked about Bryce Terang going up to the plate with confidence and how it really almost brings him to tears and it makes him so happy. And it's like, how do you not want to go to war for that guy? I would legit go to war for Pat Murphy. I love that guy. He's the freaking best. And I think that every episode we should take 5 minutes and just talk about how much we love Pat Murphy and how he's the best. And we should really, really start pushing this Pat Murphy Coach of the Year train, man. Because
we're going to talk about Pat Murphy again when we get to today's game.
He's the best, dude. He is awesome.
Brandon said apparently Bowers is a content creator now. I see his reels all over. I have not seen that. So when the show is over, I will go to look because that sounds hilarious. Michael asked if an Adames extension is even a possibility during the season. In our opinions, I'd sure like to lock him up for 3 more years. No, I don't think it's going to happen.
I think he's going to come back.
I think there's a really strong possibility that he comes back. I think some team is going to offer him a 3-year deal, something like 3 for $75, and the Brewers will do like 2 for $45 or something like that, where there'll be slightly less money and probably 1 year shorter.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be back, but he's going to hit free agency.
I think so too.
And it's less to do about Willy Adames, and it's more about his agent. His agent is going to want him to hit free agency.
Yep.
Okay. So you mentioned Tobias Myers already. The 4 straight wins. He's actually the first Brewers rookie starter, to allow 3 or fewer runs in 4 starts since 2012. Do you know who the starter was?
Oh, I had a name. Is it going to be Woodruff? Is that too far back?
Guy with the weird beard.
Weird beard. Oh, God. I have so many people pop in my head, man. When you think about facial hair and weird, I instantly go John Axford, dude. I'm sorry.
He had a mustache, not a weird beard.
I know, but I said facial hair. I said facial
hair. He blew the whistle on the Astros cheating and threw a no-hitter in Houston.
I'm drawing a blank. I'm just thinking of Jonathan Axford.
That was Mr. Mike Fiers.
Yeah, sorry. I just have that mustache in my head now.
So Mike Fiers in 2012 was the last rookie starter for the Brewers to allow 3 or fewer runs in 4 starts. Tobias Myers only allowed 2. Michael, we will see you later. And yes, the draft starts at 7, so we're going to refresh on that after we finish talking about the Brewers. Mm-hmm. This is the first game where I really started to feel like Sal Frelick was settling in. The top of the first inning, he had an opposite approach on an outside pitch. Stealing second helped it bring another run in. I don't think on the hit that he scored on, I don't think he would have scored from first base. So him stealing second base, that does help the Brewers manufacture a run. That's just another one of those things that's going to help the Brewers continue to win games and score runs. Also, the top of the second, the Brewers' opposite field approach was fantastic. Nothing fancy, just taking what the pitcher is given and going with it. 3 of the 4 lefties that batted in the top of the second inning had hits to left field. And all 3 of those opposite field pitches came on outside pitches.
Nice.
So 4 of the 5 runs that scored in that top of the second inning were scored with 2 outs. And as you mentioned, 5 out of the 6 runs for the game total were scored with 2 outs.
Oh, yeah.
And Tobias Myers, just like the second game of the Angels series we talked about, he got into a little bit of hot water around the 70 to 75 pitch mark and then shut it down. In the Angels game, it earned him an extra inning to pitch. In this game with Jake Cronenworth, who was killing the Brewers this entire series, the Brewers opted to go with Brian Hudson instead.
Smart.
Also, Brian Hudson hadn't pitched in a while. So there were a lot of people that wanted him to pitch the 7th inning, but the Brewers already had a 5-run lead. He already pitched an inning that day. I'm okay with taking him out. And the last time he pitched before this game on Sunday was the previous Wednesday. So that is what it is. Jackson Chourio pinch hit in this game and was 2 for 2. So that's good to see. Just more of him doing better in June. Jackson Chourio has turned a corner. I think we can say definitively he has turned the corner.
Yep, it's official.
And then the last thing, The top of the sixth, just a little bit of baseball bad luck. Sal Frelick had a laced double into the gap, and it bounces over the fence. If it doesn't bounce over the fence, it's probably a triple and probably adds another insurance run for the Brewers.
Yep.
It is what it is. Baseball gods giveth and taketh away.
They do.
All right. Let's go to game one of the sweep. Let's talk about Monday's game, Brewers-Rangers.
Yeah, so
defending champion Rangers.
The defending champion Rangers, who the Brewers kind of own over the last couple of years.
I think it's 9 straight wins, actually, against the Rangers, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's 8, but...
Oh, I thought, okay.
What's the deal?
Todd, we will get to that. Hold on to that thought when we get to last night's game.
I also have a really good stat when we get to last night's game, too.
I hate that I didn't get to put this out there before it happened.
I know, dude. You would, honestly, Messiah, if you would have, honestly. But let's do this one first here. Peralta on the bump, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 6 Ks. So, again, that's a pretty good outing. Peguero in this one gave up an earned run on 2 hits and a K. After that, it was lockdown. Koenig, Payamps, McGill, they were all fantastic in this game. They totaled 4 Ks. Koenig got himself into some trouble, but he got himself out of trouble. Did it all by himself. He did a very good job doing that. Payamps and McGill, they weren't messing around last night. Or 2 nights ago. Sorry.
Monday.
So the scoring in this one, Churio scored on a wild pitch. Perkins ends up getting the third, and that gave the Brewers a run. They were down 2-0, so they're now down 2-1. So then we get to the bottom of the 6th inning, and this is where shit gets real fun. Okay?
Yep.
Contreras goes from a 1-2 count to a 3-2 count to a double. Yelich has a 9-pitch walk.
That, in between there, the starter went out. After William Contreras hit his double, then the Rangers took their starter out.
Yes,
so
yes.
There is something to driving up those pitch counts.
Yes. Then after Yelly walks, Adames goes from an 0-2 count to a walk, no outs. And now, if you're a Rangers fan, you're gulp. We're in trouble.
Getting sweaty.
First pitch, Hoskins sees. He unloads on that son of a bitch. And, man, that was, first of all, electric moment. He needed that moment.
Yeah.
The Brewers needed that moment. The call from Uke, chef's kiss, every single time. And this homer as well gave the Brewers their 80th home run of the season. They are the only team in Major League Baseball with 80 home runs and 80 stolen bases. At this point, I obviously updated it as the games go on. They had 110 stolen bases. That was first in Major League Baseball. So that's all. Their 110 stolen bases already 9th in their team history. And Brewers team history is already top 10 season. So Tyler already knows, but I'm just going to tell everybody. The most stolen bases in team history is 256 in 1992. They are not touching that. It's okay.
Kind of close-ish, but
I'm not upset at it. So I was like, okay, they're not touching that. So then I was like, second place is 176 in 1987. They could get the second place.
They're touching that.
They're getting the second place. So this Brewers team, don't miss games, okay? Down the stretch, we're in the dog days of summer right now. But after the All-Star break, we get into August and September. I mean, you're going to be talking about some good memories that you're going to be able to tell your kids about this 2024 Milwaukee Brewers team because they're fun. They're going to have the second most steals in team history. Don't miss many. Also, I hope you all voted today and voted for Joey Ortiz, okay? The man deserves to be an All-Star.
Okay. So that was Rhys Hoskins' first home run since the Philly series. He was big time due. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Latz, the pitcher that he was facing, only 1 earned run in his last 12 appearances.
Yeah.
West said year of the rook. There's something to that. There's definitely something to that. That pitcher, his ERA after Rhys Hoskins' home run, grand slam, jumped 86 points. He went from 256 to 345.
The Brewers have that effect on ERAs this year, huh?
Apparently. Brandon said Reese and Jake playing better. Bad news for Tyler Black. I don't think it's necessarily bad news. I think it gives him the rest of the year to develop, which, as much as I love Tyler Black, big fan.
Hey. Trade bait. You guys want all those starting pitchers, right? We have to give something up for it. I'm just saying, Jake Bauers might be intriguing. He plays pretty good defense. He does hit homers from time to time. He could be a trade bait guy.
It's not a terrible idea. Not a terrible idea. Do I think his knee is still bothering him? No. But I do think his hamstring could potentially be bothering him a little bit.
Yeah.
And not necessarily bothering him. I think it just needs just a little bit of patience for him to get back into like the mid-season form. Brandon, he's talking about trading Bauers, not Tyler Black. Tyler Black is 99% untouchable.
No. I'm not trading Tyler Black. I'm trading Jake Bauers. Hell no, am I trading Tyler Black? Not in this universe.
Nope. Or any other universe.
Yeah.
Tyler Black is the first baseman in 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler Black's probably the first baseman next year. Yeah, that's not happening. Cody said he was bummed he didn't get to see Max Scherzer. He's one of my favorite pitchers in the league. Well, it's all right. Not mad at it.
He doesn't play for the Brewers. I don't really care.
Okay. Bryce Terang, Andre Monasterio, Willie Adames flashed plenty of leather in this game, which was really exciting. The strike zone got super tight on Jared Koenig in the top of the seventh. But, Jake, to your point, you said he hung in there. He got a strikeout with the bases loaded. Jared Koenig has earned leverage.
Yeah.
And this is where I wrote down, I'm like, that's happened. I wrote it in my notes.
It's real. I saw it.
It's right here. Use Hobie Milner as an opener to get him back on track, ? I wrote that on Monday. We didn't get to Wednesday before it happened. It happened literally the next day. Damn, we got to get to a point where we can do this show every day so I can say smart things and then have it happen.
Right.
So with that, I do think the Brewers just in general need some middle ground on their pitchers. The Brewers in the Padres series had a couple of home runs allowed on 2-strike pitches off balls that caught too much of the plate. And then in this game on Monday, Freddie Peralta got ahead of the number 9 hitter, 0-2. He came all the way back to walk, which extended the inning, and Texas ended up scoring 2 runs. So there's a little bit of middle ground where some pitchers are catching too much of the plate, and then Freddie's not quite catching quite enough of the plate and wasting a couple too many pitches. So I just need a little bit of middle ground. And if that's the case, Tobias Myers is your guy. But that is what it is. As far as Monday goes, that was their 21st come-from-behind win, which tied them for second in Major League Baseball. After yesterday and today, they will now be in second place in Major League Baseball in come-from-behind wins.
Yes,
so there's that. Brandon said 5 innings, 2 earned run is great. 104 pitches, though. Too many 3-ball counts. Freddie almost always plays with his pitches too much instead of attacking. And that's the exact middle ground we need. You got to have a little bit of middle ground of mixing some attack and occasionally wasting some pitches to see if you can get guys to chase. And at that point,
he is a strikeout pitcher, so
right. And to that point, whatever your strategy is, whether it's trying to waste and get guys to chase or attack and try to paint corners, bottom line, Freddie Peralta, just trust your stuff. I trust Freddie Peralta's stuff.
Yeah, so do I.
64 3-ball counts this year. He had a couple streak in May where he was running into some walk issues. So I think that's part of that. Wes said Dallas lived in the zone today and got 8 up. And that's the game you got to play. And Keuchel himself, we'll get to it. We'll get to it today's game in a second. So Todd asked the question, what was the deal with Hobie opening last night? There it is. That was one of the things that I was trying to call. I was on board with using Hobie Milner as the opener to get him some, not necessarily low leverage, but low pressure, where he did give up a run in the first inning. Just putting him in some lower leverage situations in the future. His second inning, much better. So he did pitch 2 innings, gave up a run. Not mad at it. Still left the Brewers in a chance to win. Followed by Bryce Wilson, who was fantastic last night. Bryce Wilson, his sinker, cutter, changeup combo was working marvelously, and he did a great job of keeping his changeup down in the zone. Absolutely zero complaints about Bryce Wilson, as there should be from anybody from last night. And then top of the seventh, my last takeaway from last night, great defense by Bryce Terang and Willie Adames.
Yeah.
So Hobie Milner, Bryce Wilson, and great defense. That, to me, is what won the Brewers the game last night.
So I obviously knew about you writing the Hobie Milner thing down. We talked last night, and you showed me, and I was like, oh, dude, that's sick that you said that, and then it happened, right? Like day of. The thing that for me that makes that smart, first by what the Brewers are doing, and second by you saying it and suggesting it, is, it puts them in a situation where they're like, okay, you're going to face these guys. They're gearing up for a starter, and you're really just a sometimes, pitcher where he's pitched enough now in the last couple of years. But it gives you an opportunity to get up there and get some confidence, right? And that's what you try to do with your young guys. And that's the thing that this Brewers team and Pat Murphy does so well, is he's good at building guys up. And I think that he really is a player's coach in that sense. And it's a beautiful thing to see. And if I don't know if this Brewers bullpen can get any better than it's been, honestly. But if we can get, prime Hobie Milner back, Jesus Christ, people might really have to start getting Jesus Christ in their batting lineup, because you won't get it.
I mean, obviously, Devin Williams is going to be back around the All-Star break.
Yeah.
I think Junis and Wilson are going to kind of swap places here at some point.
Yep.
JB Bukauskas isn't even back. I think he had like a 1.52 ERA when he got hurt. He's going to be back soon-ish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, Todd. Todd said it's pretty damn amazing that they're winning with this pitching staff. Chris Hook deserves a ton of credit, and we're going to talk more about Chris Hook after Jake finishes his thoughts from last night, because we're going to talk about today.
Yes. So Bryce Wilson, I got to say this, man. All right. I'm standing on business. Fuck that. This was his best outing as a Brewer. This was his best he has pitched as a Brewer.
I'm not mad at it.
He didn't run into any trouble.
It's 6 scoreless innings. I mean,
he was a stud. He was a stud all night. He, after the Brewers ended up taking the lead in the third inning they took the lead in the fifth. Churiel tied it. Ortiz hit the homer to take the lead. And, after that, I mean, Wilson then going to Peguero, on 75 pitches. And me and you were talking last night. We're like, let him have the ninth. Let him have the ninth. And you know what? They didn't, and that's okay. Get Elvis some work as well. Yep. And I'll tell you this. That strikeout that Peguero had last night, nasty.
Disgusting.
That was so nasty. You're not touching that. You just pray to God and hope that you nick it. And it's a foul ball, but absolutely disgusting. So I have a couple stats on Bryce Wilson real quick here. So Bryce Wilson in 4 appearances following an opener. So it's happened a couple times with Koenig, now Milner. He has an ERA of 2.01. Gross. The Brewers are 19-5 in their last 24 at home, including 4 straight from last night, now 5 straight. They are 9-2-1 in series at home this year and have won 8 straight series at home.
Damn.
This young team cooks at home. And I wanted to say something about Churiel for people that don't believe that he has turned the corner. He went 1 for 4 last night. So you're going to look at that and you're going to be like, wow, 1 for 4.
250, yeah.
His exit velocities, 96.1, 99.0, 99.1, and 101.8.
That'll play.
He's hitting fucking steams off the ball right now. He's crushing it.
Yeah,
and then today, of course, he hits a little blooper. His first hit hits a little blooper, and you're like, yeah, he was due for a hit like that after crushing the ball all night last night. Exactly.
All but one, Brandon. All but one.
All but one. But he was due for a hit like that after crushing the baseball all night. But a great team win for the Brewers last night. Pitching, defense, they got timely hitting. Great win the series. You move on to today, and here we are.
Okay, let's start the conversation with Dallas Keuchel. Wes, the first thing he said was Dallas living in the zone today and got 8 up. Cody said we can't just hold Dallas and then throw him in desperately. And then Brad said, people complaining about the Dallas pickup, get over it. It's a small market baseball. It costs us basically nothing. If it doesn't work out, at least he's eating innings for others to rest. And today, that's the bottom line. Today, the bottom line is he 8 innings and the Brewers won. That's the bottom line. So,
Yeah, that
Brad,
was the
that is
best outcome.
absolutely, totally fair. And my thing on this is he got here last night.
Yeah.
Somebody commented on the post that we made yesterday about the older pitchers that the Brewers have brought in kind of at the tail end of their careers. Last year, Julio Teheran, the years before, talking about guys like Gio Gonzalez and Brett Anderson and Jhoulys Chacin. Bringing guys like that in and getting the last bit out of them. Today is not enough to make the choice of if or not he was a good decision to be brought in. Brandon said give Chris Hook 2 weeks with him, and then we can make a decision. I'm totally on board with 2 weeks. I was thinking something like 4 starts.
Yeah.
So that totally fits with that. It's too early to know if he's going to be good for us in the long run because our pitching staff, our pitching lab, has not had a chance to work with him yet.
Yep.
That's the thing. So people who were commenting on our stuff today and being like, "Oh, how did that work out?" Like, it's day 1, dude, and the Brewers won.
They did.
So Keuchel was up and down. The second inning was a little rough, and the fourth inning was a little rough. First and third, awesome. So if we can just have him pitch every other inning, that'd be awesome. Just have him pitch all the odd numbered innings.
He was going crazy.
But it doesn't work that way. But like I said, give the Brewers pitching staff, the coaching staff for pitching, some chances to work with them before we're being like, no, this is a failure. Why did they even do this? He gave up 5 runs in his debut. Like, let's just give the pitching coaches a little bit of time to work with Dallas Keuchel before declaring that he's not long for the Brewers.
Right.
That's another fair point, Brandon. Just meeting Contreras today. That's totally a fair point. So I'm very interested to get the pitching lab working with Dallas Keuchel. Now, I do want to say he has mentioned Milwaukee as a place that he's been wanting to pitch because of the way they play defense and because of the way they have fun. I swear to God, if this hasn't been something that I've been saying this entire year in response to Willy Adames and the pitcher who shall not be named, as a small market, our biggest advantage is our people. That is what's going to get people to come here. That is what's going to get people to stay. There is not a chance that they are going to bring in somebody who could jeopardize that. That needs to be gotten through people's heads who want the TB pitcher. He is not coming here because he will nuke our biggest advantage. And even if he's a good teammate while he's here, just the fact that the Brewers would be willing to consider a guy like that says that they don't care enough about the culture that they have built to want to continue that. That they're going to prioritize grabbing a guy who can maybe help them win a couple more games in exchange for compromising the biggest advantage they have to compete with big market teams, which is the people. It is the clubhouse. It is the building that they are playing in. That is why the Brewers will not sign that pitcher.
Culture is the biggest point of emphasis for every winning team. Think of the Packers in the NFL. Great culture. Steelers, great culture. Patriots for 20 plus years, great culture. Ravens, good culture. Those teams consistently win. In the NBA, man, the Bucks have a great culture. They really do. They have a great locker room, a lot of great people. See? That's what I'm saying. Culture is the main point of emphasis. This is why it's funny that the Dodgers always do this. Now I'm going to shit on them. You think you could just pay a bunch of people, slap it together, and then you're going to win the World Series? That's not how it works. That's literally not how it works. You have to build relationships with people.
Baseball example of culture is the Cardinals. That's fair. That's fair.
That's a really good one.
The San Francisco Giants are another perfect example.
Yeah.
Cody, it's always.
I agree.
And that's the thing. There are a couple teams that could take a flyer on that guy. But it's only going to be a New York, Chicago, or LA team. Those are the only ones that can handle the public relations nightmare that will be.
Because they're used to it.
And because they're big markets.
Yeah.
Todd, yes. New York in general. Just, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at the Mets a couple of years ago. They bought a bunch of people, traded for a couple of guys, and there's like they were practicing their World Series celebration in spring training, and it's like it's not how that works, guys.
Yeah,
It's
San
not at all
Diego's
how that
trying to do
works.
it too.
Yeah, it's
So
ridiculous.
people is the advantage.
Mm-hmm.
People who, to get into today's game, obviously we mentioned just Dallas Keuchel, guys having fun. Andre Monasterio coming through with a walk-off.
Man.
As soon as he came up last year, we noticed and credited and pointed out that when Andre Monasterio got up here, he was just up here with a smile. That's all he was doing. Everything he was doing with a smile.
Nah.
And today he got to be the hero. And I said it in the chat that we have. I adore Andre Monasterio because that man is having fun every single moment he's here.
And if there's somebody that's been through some shit in life and showed perseverance and a guy that deserves it and a guy that's been really valuable to the team and really underrated, it's Andrew Monasterio.
Yeah. And bringing in a guy like Rhys Hoskins, who has nothing but great things said about him by former teammates.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Todd let the Cubs sign the anonymous pitcher. Absolutely. I love that for them.
How'd that work out for him last time?
So, what stood out to you from today's game?
Man, a lot of stuff.
There's a lot.
And we were talking about it, man.
Dude, this is my note page from today. I almost ran out of space.
We were talking about it today, man. And it was like the first 5 innings of this game were like, what the hell is happening?
I literally tweeted, what is happening?
So in the first 5 innings, so we get to the bottom of the third, Bowers hits a grand slam, 444 feet. Churio, Yelly, and Adames score, giving the Brewers a 4-1 lead. And you're like, oh, hell yeah. I didn't get to see it. I listened to it on the radio, which is almost better in some situations when Yuke is on the call. Get to the bottom of the 4th inning, and Churio gets an inside the park home run. And he was rounding first base almost a second. You could tell he was like, I'm going.
Yep.
I don't think that Lane was going to stop him. I'm just going to tell you right now. And people would have bitched if he would have been thrown out at home, but I don't think Jason Lane
don't care. We're being aggressive. We're out here being aggressive.
First inside the park homer from a Brewers player since 2019, Ben Gamel versus Seattle.
That was the last time it happened at Miller Park, sorry, or American Family Field.
It
was Miller Park then. That's why I said that.
I wrote the other one down. My fault. So
the last time it happened by a Brewer was Christian Yelich in 2020.
Yep, August 6, 2020. Because this was the 31st inside the Parker in team history.
Good team
and
work.
This was also the first time in team history the Brewers had a grand slam and an inside the park homer in the same game. So all within the first 5 innings, right? And then we get to the last 5 innings, and it turned into a regular baseball game with some high leverage pitching, with some players on, pop-outs, strikeouts, and you're starting to stress. And there's no scoring going on. All the scoring happened in the first half of the game, and the Brewers come out on top. And that's all I care about. And it was a fun game. This was a fun game. If the Brewers would have lost, I would have been like, we won the series. But now that they won, it feels even better that they won a game like this, had some defense, had some things go our way. We gave up some homers, but they bounced back from it. So just a great job, honestly. This Brewers team is a lot of fun, dude. And they're at 48 wins now, when their projected win total was between 77 and 79. I don't remember which one it is, but
I think Vegas had them at 79.5.
They're literally almost there. They're like so close, and we're only halfway through the year.
Yeah, on pace for the team record to tie the team record 96 wins.
Yeah,
and that's if they don't get better, which they should, given the fact that they're going to get healthier.
True.
Very exciting prospect. So, Sal Frelick, this was another game where I really felt like he's seeing the ball well.
Mm-hmm.
Another 3 hits, as I mentioned. He's got 7 hits in the last 3 games that he's played.
Yeah, he's balling.
Sal is on a tear right now.
Yeah, he is.
Christian Yelich, I believe, also had 3 hits today. I think all of them came with 2 outs, if I'm not mistaken. And an intentional walk.
Yep. I can double
also
check.
Stole his 200th base today. So this year, Christian Yelich has hit 300 doubles. He's hit 200 home runs, and he's hit 200 stolen bases, milestones for his career, which is really cool for Christian Yelich. Jackson Chourio got the true inside the Parker. I still hold the one that he had in LA should have been an inside the Parker. I don't think the right fielder did anything to misplay that ball. But it is what it is. He got the home run today. I wanted to say this about Jacob Junis, progressing really well. 2 scoreless innings pitched, had 1 walk, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts. Trevor McGill in the top of the 9th inning should have had a strikeout, should have had a looking strikeout, but instead called a ball, and it turns into a double play. So baseball gods throwing us a bone there. Appreciated that. And then the last thing that I wanted to say outside of Andre Monasterio is really seeing Willy Adames' plate discipline on display. So looking at Willy Adames, he has his whiff percentage and chase percentage are the lowest rates that he's had since 2019.
Love that.
And his walk percentage, he is in the 90th percentile in all of baseball.
Love that.
So people claiming that all he does is strike out, it's just not the case.
Well, they haven't watched very much this year then.
So, I mean, he's in the 90th percentile for walk percentage. He is at 12.1% on walks. He is striking out 20.7% of the time. That is by far his career low by over 5%. And the major league average is 26.9. So he is over 6% below major league average and over 5% below his career lowest. So he's striking out less than 21% of the time when the major league average is about 27. So this Willy Adames just strikes out narrative can just be completely gotten rid of. It's just completely false at this point. Yeah. And we'll end on it again. Andre Monasterio got to be the hero. Love to see it after the Brewers kind of fumbled an opportunity in the 9th inning to get up in the 10th after Jared Koenig, who, like I said after Monday's game, deserves leverage, comes through again to get a scoreless top of the 10th after giving up a 2-out walk, had 2 strikeouts in the inning and the ground out, and the Brewers win it in 10.
Yeah, great game. Great game.
Absolutely love it. Just like you said, great game. Tale of 2 games. The first 5 innings were very different from the second 5 innings, but Brandon said if Yelich can keep playing, he will have a shot at the NL batting title. Would be number 1 today, but he's like 20 at-bats short. He's very close. Last Wednesday, he was 48 at-bats short. So basically, he needs 3.1 at-bats per day. So any day that he's got 4 or 5 at-bats, he's making up that ground. So he'll be over it.
Also, good call by you. All of his hits were with 2 outs.
Nailed it.
I double-checked for you.
Nailed it. Okay. So next, the Brewers are off tomorrow, well-earned off day.
Mm-hmm.
Then they play Friday through Sunday against the Cubs, and then they start a 4-game series at Colorado. We will have the first 2 games of that series next Wednesday, so that's 5 games between now and next Wednesday. I'm going to say a 4-1 week. I'm ready to sweep the Cubs this weekend.
5. We're sweeping the Cubs. We're winning the series versus Colorado. We're going to guarantee the split by next Wednesday. So
love it.
5. I'm in. Brewers are dude, people are heating up. We were talking about it, dude. Chario, turning the corner. Frelick, you talked about it. He's absolutely on a tear right now. Yelich is on a tear right now. Contreras looks like he's seeing the ball a little bit better. Hoskins is heating up. I mean, if the Brewers just can get this consistent pitching, the bullpen does what they're supposed to do, 5-0 week could easily happen.
Yeah, I'll take a 9-game winning streak.
Dude, if we're on a 9-game winning streak, I'm about to be cocky up here next week.
All right. So before we switch gears into basketball, reminder, follow us on Patreon. It's $5 a month, 2 watch parties a month. You get to pick which ones we do. We have one coming up on Sunday. There will be a 30-minute pregame show that we are doing ourselves. So come check us out on Patreon. You get the link on that day, and we'll be live 30 minutes before game time with our own pregame show, zooming into just the one specific game. That allows us to get a much closer approach to the individual games. Tim, we're not done quite yet, unless you're leaving, but we're not done yet. It allows us to get a much closer look at the game. So that'll be Sunday for Brewers Cubs. So hopefully we're wrapping up a sweep that day. All right. Ready to have a little bit of Bucks conversation before we wrap this up.
Yes, I have 3 questions for you. So
okay, I have 3 questions. 2 of them are draft related, and one of them is more free agency related.
Oh, okay.
So I'll ask that one first, and then we can talk draft.
Okay.
My one free agent related question is: would you sign John Wall to be the backup point guard to Damian Lillard?
So, John Wall recently did an interview, and I don't know if he was doing like an actual like full length interview or he just got asked some random question. But I digress. He answered. He said he just wants to be back in an NBA uniform. I believe this is a guy that loves the game. He misses the game. He's obviously talented. He's been an all-star. The answer is yes.
He last played in the 22-23 season, played 34 games that year, averaged 22.2 minutes a game. Even in that year, he was still averaging over 5 assists a game.
Oh, God. Here we go, Todd.
Todd said get rid of Doc. That's just not happening.
He's on a 1-year contract this year, so we're going to let it ride. We're going for the championship this year. They're going to let it ride.
And he gets a full offseason to work with everybody.
Yep.
But John Wall, his career, he's an average 43%, 32.2% from three, 77.6% shooter. Decent numbers. Yep. The big thing with him is his career average is 18.7 points a game, 8.9 assists per game, and 1.6 steals a game.
I agree with Wes.
Wes said veteran minimum. Why not? We're not in a position to offer money, but a chip run and have him playing backups could work. Absolutely.
Especially if they try to bring in a young point guard. What better way to learn than to learn from a guy like John Wall who's been through it all and Damian Lillard? That's your point guard room.
On paper, that just sounds awesome, having Damian Lillard and John Wall on the same team.
Oh, man, if you would have told me that in 2013, I'd have been like, damn. That's
I was thinking 2014. All right. Let's have some draft-related questions. The NBA draft is split up into 2 days. So over today and tomorrow, we'll put out some thoughts on the picks. But you want me to ask? You have 3, I have 2. Let's just alternate. Give me your first question.
Yeah. So mine are pretty basic, but I wanted to give us the floor to kind of put our prospects out there and the work that we did. If you didn't get a chance, by the way, please, a couple weeks ago, what was the date on that? The 7th?
That was the 14th.
14th? Okay. I was a week late. So we did a Bucks episode. We did a lot of work. We ranked our top 5, and this is all in the area that the Bucks are going to pick. We're not ranking the top 5 overall.
Right.
We're ranking the Bucks top 5.
Yep.
We did backup point guard, buckets, 3 and D, floor spacing big, and I'm missing one. I'm drawing a blank. Defensive specialists. And then we also did that for free agents as well. And then we had some fun at the end of it. But go check that out. So first thing I'm going to ask you, so you can tell the people so they get a little sneak peek, who is your favorite prospect in this draft? Overall prospect. It doesn't mean just Bucks fit, just favorite overall prospect.
My favorite overall prospect is probably Tyler Kolek, just because the Marquette part of it.
Yep.
Not withholding the fact that he would be a good fit for the Bucks to be their backup point guard.
Yes.
But part of it being the hometown pick also.
I agree with that. He'd be a great pick. But my favorite prospect, I think you know this, is Deron Holmes II. I see him as basically an Aaron Gordon copycat, the way that he can score from 3 levels, play defense. I think he'd be absolutely a home run hit for any team that picks him in that middle area of the draft.
All right. My first question for you, are you open to trading the 23rd pick?
I mean, yeah. I think John Horst has gained the respect to have a little bit of leeway with any trade that he does. Now, there's a lot of people out there that freaked out when we traded Drew Holiday for Damian Lillard because, 2020 vision after everything all the dust has settled and the Celtics have won the title and the Bucks had the year that they did. But I still think it's a win of a trade for the Bucks, the way that they looked at it, the way they were trying to go for it. I think any move that Horst makes is going to be a winning move. So, yes, if he has to trade pick 23 to get a defender, I would do it.
Okay. I want to look. I'm just going to pull it up quick. Would you trade Brook Lopez and the 23rd pick to the Nets for Cameron Johnson?
I have actually seen that one before. Now, that makes it tough. So, here's one thing I have to know. And people might call me crazy for saying this, but this is just how my heart feels. I need to know if Bobby Portis is getting an extension first. because otherwise we really have a glaring hole. We have a glaring hole. Okay, so Bobby can play center. Bobby can play power forward.
Mhm.
Bobby is your scorer and energy guy off the bench. If Bobby Portis is only here for 1 year, it goes bad, he leaves, who do you fill that spot with? Then you lose Brook Lopez, Drew Holiday, and Bobby Portis, a lot of nucleus of the championship roster within a couple of years. I don't think that's something that people should really be scoffing at. So I need a Bobby Portis re-up for 2 years just to open the window, keep the window open a little bit, keep some of the nucleus together. But Cam Johnson, that's tough. He's not a very good defender, but he is a floor
6'8"
spacer.
bucket, though.
He is a floor spacer. So I am going to say no on that, though. I'm going to be honest with you. I'll just keep Brook.
Brad, I understand that everybody wants Giannis to play center and play small ball, but it just the most important thing to the 2024-2025 season is going to be their health. And Giannis at center, it just doesn't bode well for his long-term health.
Thank you. That's everything I've been saying to people. You people were literally 2 months ago just bitching about Giannis. Oh, he signed a 5-year extension. Oh, shit. Damn, OG re-up with the Knicks. The Knicks looking dangerous. But anyways, people just complained and bitched about Giannis' health over the last 2 playoffs, and now you want to put him at a more physically demanding position?
Not all teams are playing smaller, though, Brad. Look at the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves are not playing smaller. The Mavericks really aren't playing smaller. The Knicks, if they hold on to Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson, they're probably losing Hartenstein. But, they're going to play some small, but they're going to be big still. The Heat are not going to play small outside of Bam Adebayo.
I mean, the Celtics
some teams are playing smaller, but it's not the small ball revolution that there was in the late 2010s.
I think it's starting to even out, in my opinion.
Yeah. The Thunder, if they're going to try to pair Chet Holmgren with Isaiah Hartenstein, they're not going to be playing small.
No.
The Magic are not playing small.
Lots of teams with size.
Yeah. The Cavaliers are not playing small.
Right. That's just off the top of your head. That was very good. Nicely done. Nicely done.
I know stuff sometimes. All right. Give me your next question.
So, following the same kind of, ordeal here, who's your sleeper pick?
My sleeper pick. I'm kind of leaning Tyler Smith.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's being picked at 23, but if he doesn't go between 23 and 33, I would love Tyler Smith with a 33rd pick. He's definitely my sleeper.
Oh, yeah. So, my sleeper. I was talking about him quite a bit, but Enrique Freeman out of Akron, dude. I think this is a guy who's a developmental guy. Will take a year or two, which the Bucks have a few on their roster already, so people might not like this answer. But a guy who's 6'8", 6'9", 3-level scorer. He has a really nice right-hand hook over his left-hand shoulder. I mean, he plays defense. He's long. He's athletic. He's competitive. I think he would be an absolute steal late in this draft, whoever ends up getting him.
All right, give me your next one because my last one was kind of a final question. So give me your next one right away.
Okay, so I'm going to put us on the spot. Who are we picking at 23?
That's literally what my last question was. So
All right.
I have kind of a hot take.
All right.
So the conversation around the Bucks has been that they don't want somebody that's developmental. They want to pick guys at 23 and 33 that are going to help them win now.
Yep.
So with that, my hot take is that they're going to take Terrence Shannon at 23.
Ho. Okay, so before I answer, I fell in love with Kelly Oubre last year. I was like, dude, he'd be a filthy fit at the 2 spot for the Bucks. You still give Chris the ability to play how he wants. He can fit with Damon Giannis. He's a good defender. He shoots threes good enough. I saw Terrence Shannon get compared to him today, and I'm like, sign me up. Sign me up right now.
I think that's what the Bucks are taking tonight. Almost everything that I've seen is that he's going to go between 23 and 33. So I've been kind of hoping that he would make it to 33.
Yeah.
But I think the Bucks are taking him at 23.
I would love that pick. I would absolutely be ecstatic. I think we're going to end up with Ware. I think we're going to end up with Khalil Ware.
I'd be ecstatic with that also.
I think they are going to trade Brook Lopez tonight. I think they're going to trade Brook Lopez. They're going to get Khalil Ware. And if they trade Brook Lopez, And it wasn't just in our chat. I was reading Twitter all day today at work. I hope my boss isn't watching. I apologize.
I'm not sorry.
But I was seeing rumblings, and we saw it last year during the trade deadline of Andrew Wiggins. So if they get Andrew Wiggins and Khalil Ware, I'm just saying, bro, the Bucks reloaded like a motherfucker.
Bro, if I call Andrew Wiggins like 7 months before it happens, I'm throwing myself a parade. Just the fact that they even checked in on him and it was something that I floated out there, like, I will be running around tooting my own horn for the next 24 hours.
Hey, I'm for it. Dude.
All right. That said, the draft starts in about an hour and a half. We're probably about 3 hours away from the Bucks pick, but very interested to see who they end up with at 23. Yep. I'd be very excited if it was Khalil Ware. I'm very interested to see if Terrence Shannon makes it to 23, if the Bucks would pick him. I do think he's one of the more NBA ready guys. And then tomorrow night will be more like tomorrow afternoon, because I think it starts at 3.
Yep.
Central time. So that'll be the second round of the draft. After that is done, the first 2 rounds, then we're gonna make some graphics and put our thoughts out on both picks at once. So stay tuned for that tomorrow evening. Other than that, Jake and I will be back on Sunday. If you follow us on Patreon, if you're subscribed to us over there, we'll be live for the Patreon on Sunday for the Brewers and Cubs game, 30 minutes before game time. With the pregame show. And then other than that, we will be back next Wednesday with some more Brewers games and our thoughts on the Bucks draft. Other than that, you got anything else?
Go Bucks, go Brewers.
All righty. I will see you Sunday.